What's up guys, welcome back. In today's video I'm going to be talking about how to study a new team. If you have been frustrated like me with Go Battle League, you probably have switched your team on more than one occasion. So it's the thing about it is when you start a new team, you're kind of starting from like square one. You have to do battles and kind of like study what happened when you lost and try to figure out like, are there any holes in my team, or like, are there any matchups I could have done where I could have performed better, I could have made better decisions? And that's what today's video is going to be about. So if you like this video at any point in time, please hit that like button. It goes a long way to help the channel. And subscribe if you haven't already if you like the content. So let's just get into it. The team I'm using that I've been messing around with like lately has been Galvantula lead, because I love the way it charges really quick. And then Azumarill and Altaria, I can't remember how it's pronounced, sorry. So I'll look that up later. But anyways, I did find a hole in this team, and we're going to talk about that at the end of the video, but I just want to show you the lineup that I used. Okay, so then what I did was I decided to actually like take some notes. I wrote down all the team compositions of the teams that I went up against, what leads they had, and then what other Pokemon they had on their team, to just kind of see if like there was like a common lead everyone was using, or just common Pokemon that I was running into, so maybe I could adjust my play accordingly or adjust my team. And I'm going to show you, I'm going to put on the screen right now the opponents from my first set. So my first set I ran into a Stunfisk, which is a hard counter to Galvantula, and I ran into Meganium. The reason it's a question mark there is because those first two Pokemon beat my whole team. So the second team I ran into a Medicham lead, Umbreon, Tentacruel, very different team, different lead. Third team I ran into a Hypno, Azumarill, and Vigoroth, again a completely different team. At this point, it was just getting crazy. Like, it kind of goes to show you how wide open Great League is. The fourth game, Alolan Ninetales, which just wrecked my team, and Azumarill, so I didn't know what the third one was because they beat me. And then in the final game, Heracross, Azumarill, and then they actually rage quit because we were doing so well against that team, so I didn't get to see their third Pokemon. So, as you can see, 5 different leads. So, I don't really know what to gather from that, but you do notice that out of those 5 teams, 3 of them had Azumarill on their team. So like, we're talking 60%. So yeah, so one of the things that I was thinking, I'm like, okay, I'm running into Azumarill a lot and I'm still running Ice Beam. So I'm thinking at this point, I should probably change to Play Rough, because I feel like I'm gonna run into Azumarill like in the mirror match a lot more often than I'm not. And so, well, maybe a lot more often than average. So anyways, I'm going to put up the second set. I ran into a Hypno again as a lead, Altaria, Mew, which had Surf of all moves. Mew is just crazy. You really don't know what to do against that. Then Azumarill, finally I caught him in the lead, and then Registeel. So again, 5 different leads, but look again, 3 of those 5 teams had Azumarill on the team. So again, we're talking about 60% of the teams have Azumarill. So at this point, I'm really thinking, okay, I really need to change my thing. Okay, so I need to change my move. So in the next set, I ran into Registeel again, Alolan Raichu, Wigglytuff, but again, 2 more Azumarills on the team. So after that, I changed my move to Play Rough, and then I ran into an Azumarill again, Registeel lead, and then Altaria lead. So yeah, lots of different team comps, but the main thing to take away from this is that a lot of people are still using Azumarill, and so for me, it's a strong case to make that Play Rough is a good move to run instead of Ice Beam. Yeah, you lose a little bit of that hard-hitting move against Altaria and the grass types, but Play Rough is still super effective against Altaria, obviously, and it's super effective still against some of the counters like Shiftry and just other Pokemon. It still hits pretty hard. So for me, I don't think, I think it's actually better to run Play Rough, just based on all the Azumarills that I'm still seeing. Okay, so let's move on with the video. I just kind of wanted to point that out and show you all the teams that I ran up against. So, Galvantula actually can beat Registeel in the lead, and it also can beat, obviously, Azumarill and Skarmory, which I unfortunately didn't run into leads until like the 4th and 5th set. I started to run into like a couple Skarmory leads. So what I did was I played a match. Let me show you the first match. Let's just go through the first match to see what happens. Okay, so we're going against Yee0816, and we run into a Registeel lead, and this is one of the matchups that I wasn't too familiar with. I did know from experience from leading with Registeel that the electric moves do hit pretty hard. So I decide to shield this one, and he throws Focus Blast, which, as the shield color shows, it's resisted, but it still hits pretty hard from learning on PvPoke. Anyways, I'm going Discharge here, and he shields. Okay, so we're both even shields, and then I'm going to shield one more time because I really want to win this lead matchup. He throws a Focus Blast again, so probably not the best move to throw. It's not as efficient as Flash Cannon. Does a little bit more damage, but it takes much more energy. Okay, so we win that lead matchup. Now Haunter comes in, and he's going to have to shield this one, I believe, because Haunter is super glassy. Okay, so... Alright, so now I have no shields. Nothing I can do here. This should KO. Okay, so now I come in with... trying to think. Azumarill, and this is where the luck kind of plays in. If this Haunter is running Shadow Ball, I'm good. If it's running Sludge Bomb, I'm not good. So luckily he ran Shadow Ball. Sludge Bomb would have almost KO'd if not KOing me, so I was able to get my Ice Beam off. At this point I was still running Ice Beam. This was like in the beginning of the set. Okay, so now this is the situation I'm talking about. If you're running into a mirror match, having Ice Beam hurts you. So it takes a lot less energy to do Play Rough, and Play Rough does more damage. Okay, so now I'm with Altaria. There's really nothing I can do here. Ice Beam's gonna almost knock me out. Sky Attack won't do much damage to it. So we're getting towards the end here. And I'm almost, let's see, I think I get to, no, I don't get to the Sky Attack. So this should be game over here. My Azu comes back in, but he had a lot more energy. He farmed up, so that was good on him. And we lose. Okay, so now is where now is like where I'm like step 2 mode, which is I'm studying the matchup. So the lead matchup I'm going to study, I go on pvpoke.com and I type in Galvantula. So this, if you haven't used this website before, it's really necessary to like learn matchups without actually having to practice them and playing against other people. So I type in Registeel, right? So in here you can like actually adjust the IVs. Like let's say if you know your exact IVs, you could put those in to see exactly how your Pokemon would do. Then you can kind of make up some IVs. You could do default or like the optimum IVs for your opponent. You can choose the shields, and then if you scroll down you can hit battle and it'll tell you just like a general scenario what would happen. And so here you can see Galvantula wins in 81 seconds. Anything over a 500 rating means it's good that you win. If it's below 500 you lose. You can see there Focus Blast does that much damage, Flash Cannon does 55. You can like hover your mouse over the buttons and see which one does what. So Discharge is the most energy efficient at 0.82 damage per energy. So let's say you're thinking like the actual matchup will play differently than what the scenario plays here. You can click Sandbox mode and you can click on some of the moves and kind of change what actually happens, and you can kind of see like what you think would realistically happen. Okay, so what I learned from here, from doing all this, was that as long as I basically match shields with Registeel, then I win. Okay, so let's go into the second match. And that's one of the things that comes into studying your matchups, is you start to develop an actual strategy. So now that you know the strategy, you know how to play it. So now the second time around, I know all I need to do is match shields. So I'm gonna throw a Discharge. He doesn't shield. So I'm like, okay, I don't need to shield this. I should still be good. So I don't shield. He throws a Flash Cannon. And so now I'm just applying the strategy. It's basically like going on autopilot. Once you know the strategy, you just repeat the process every time you run into that scenario. So he decides not to shield, and now we won the lead matchup without burning any shields. Before I probably would have shielded that, which would have been less than optimal play. Okay, so now we have Azumarill against Marowak. This is a pretty good situation for us. Even if he hits us with a Shadow Ball, it doesn't even do 50% damage. And so now, at this point, you notice I did switch to Play Rough. And look what happened. I ran into an Azu again. So, this is a much better situation now because it only takes, I believe, 6 bubbles, maybe 5, to get to Play Rough. It takes 7 to get to Hydro Pump. So I'm getting to a move faster and it does more damage per energy than Hydro Pump does. So we're looking at a better situation here. Okay, so now I'm gonna try to. I was trying to see if I can catch the Hydro Pump, and it worked totally well. I was able to catch the Hydro Pump with my Altaria. It resists water, so that was good. And I'm able to get to a Sky Attack before it can get to another Hydro Pump, or even an Ice Beam. So we do a little bit more damage, so we're looking pretty good here. So he hits me with the Ice Beam, and then I come back in with Azumarill, and I have a lot of energy. Now, I did overcharge even to more than 100 energy, so I didn't want to keep wasting energy. So sorry, my cat's trying to get out of the door, trying to get out of the office. So yeah, I decided to throw the move, and he throws an Ice Beam. But now, because I still have a lot of energy left over, I'm able to get to a Hydro Pump, and we win the match. Yeah, Azu comes in. Yeah. So there you go. Those are the only two battles I want to showcase because I don't want this video to be too long. But the point of this video is, if you're starting with a new team, and we're gonna do a follow-up video to this about like using Team Builder to kind of check your team against the meta, but it's too much to put in one video, so that'll be in the next video. But yeah, step one, just pick a team, try to get as much coverage as you can, practice with it, maybe pick 1 or 2 lead matchups, record your battles, and then watch them over again, see if you could do anything different. Step 2, go on PV Poke, run some simulations, see what would happen, try to develop a strategy. And then step 3, apply the strategy, and then hopefully win more games. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. So if you like the video, please hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you have any questions about anything I talked about in this video, please comment in the comment section below, and we will see you tomorrow.